Good evening, campers, dreamers, and babysitters. And yes, I have been teasing this for probably about 2 weeks now. And yeah, I'm sorry to blue ball everybody, keep you guys on the edge of your seats, but the time is now. What has been going on with us? I mean, it wasn't too long ago that we had an update video, probably about a month ago, when we told you guys that we'd been working on Sycophant, which we have news for that as well. But yeah, we've had a lot of crazy things happen over the last month. And yeah, I mean, the first one, I got to start off. This is all thanks to you guys. The channel did hit 1,000 subscribers, which was really just a very heartwarming, very awesome experience for both Luke and I. I mean, like, it was something we'd been working towards for like the entire time. I mean, I still remember, I think we've said this story way too many times, so I won't divulge too much, but just like how we set out, like, hey, in the first year, if we hit 100 subscribers, we're doing great. Like, we're doing really well. And yeah, you guys embraced us with open arms, and you got us all the way here, and we couldn't be more thrilled.
Yeah, it's something that's, when you set out to do something like this and we kind of set those parameters of like, yeah, maybe we'll hit this, maybe we'll hit that. We'll come back to this as, much as we can, but I don't think either of us anticipated such of a driving force this was going to take on with us, and kind of how much work we were going to end up putting into it just because we wanted to do that. But then I can't even remember the parameters that we initially set those. I know you had the whiteboard that you were kind of keeping track of everything that we were hitting.
Sitting over there. It hasn't been updated in a
Yeah,
minute because we've been so busy.
And it's like, and I can't remember initially, what we had set, like, every few months of like what we thought we were going to hit. Certainly, I think we kind of had, as opportunities presented themselves within those first few months, I think there was something bigger that we were leaning on to say, if we talk to this person, maybe that's when we'll kind of catch fire, and we'll get more eyes on the channel, and then we'll get to that 1,000. Who knew that we were gonna get directors, screeners, things like that presented to us, and be able to make that 1,000 mark, pretty much on just us kind of reaching out to people and taking those opportunities as we do get them. I mean, we've surpassed 1,000. We're still climbing even today. As we record this, we've got a handful of new subscribers. So I mean, It's such a big thank you to everyone who shows up and watches our stuff and decides to hit that like button, that subscribe button. I mean, we can't thank you enough, because me and Dylan have talked on the podcast. This is something we want to do. We want to continue to do this. We want to do this full time eventually, and every little bit helps.
Absolutely. And I mean, like, we've gotten to the point now where we've been able to get monetized through YouTube. We got approved right away, which honestly was a huge surprise. But it really, again, all comes down to you guys, because I mean, without your support and you guys always sharing and liking and commenting, all the interaction we can get on these videos, it helps. It really puts us in a good spot with YouTube and with getting everything out there, and gives us more opportunities, like interviewing these directors. We've built really strong relationships with like the people over at Screambox and Welcome Villain, and yeah, some new ones we're going to talk about here shortly. But this has just been absolutely insane. Like, we're gearing up for Splatterthon Volume 2, which we're going to talk about that a little bit. But like, it's, if you would have told me last year that this is where we'd be at, that we would have screener access and just to have all these people that we've been able to kind of talk to and understand things, and let alone make a short film, like I would have said there's no way at all. But yeah, I mean, you guys just showing up, watching all our stuff, and just really being here for us, that's number one, and that's why we wanted to come out right away and say that. And obviously there's been some people that I want to give basically a more of a shout out to. Obviously, our top fan, which when I guess we got monetized, they you can get this now. So if you comment and subscribe, but I think you'll have a hard time beating this. El Rayo, you've been a huge supporter of us. Thank you, buddy. This is great. You always comment on our stuff, even when you have no idea what movie we're talking about. But hey, we appreciate the support and the love from you, man. Thank you so much for showing up to all our videos. And of course, our buddies, Alex King from Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. Thanks for giving us an opportunity to work with you, man. We got a lot more stuff coming with that. We have a video that I've been having on the back burner for quite too long, but I now have some cool tools and I'm ready to get that thing done. And then of course, Evan, our buddy Evan from Rockland Graves Productions, who both those guys have excellent channels. Please check them out. Please check out El Rayo's channel. He's got a lot of great shorts. And yeah, I mean, they've been great. Like these guys are people we interact with basically on a daily basis.
Yeah, and as soon as we post a video, I'll be honest, I always wait for that notification for El Rayo's comment, because I always look forward to those. I've had a chance to check out his channel as well, and a lot of talent there. A lot of things that he puts together, just his editing stuff. I can't wait to watch his channel grow. You talked about Alex from Beyond the Void. I mean, he's got a lot of great stuff.
I love
sitting down
his content,
and watching some films with him is always a fun time, and just listen to his podcast. And Evan from Rockland Graves, I mean, gosh, the editing style that he puts into those things is just
those two guys
on another level.
The quality has inspired us so much, because I hopefully you guys have seen it, especially with the raw reaction stuff, is that we've taken a lot of their advice and things like that to heart. And we're kind of for a while there, it felt like we were kind of going more quantity over quality, but it's just learning. We're just still learning how to do things. And I mean, with the short film, I feel like that bumped us up another level, because we were able to get a lot of assets and a lot of things we didn't have before. And yeah, I mean, it completely reshaped raw reactions just from the inspiration from those two guys. So seriously, like, they've been such wonderful people to kind of take this journey with so far.
Yeah, and it's funny to look at as we were growing, and maybe in that 200 300 subscriber range, where we would get those comments of, how do you guys only have so many subscribers? Your content's great. And then, like, to look back on it, and it's like, Evan from Rockland Graves is just like, that dude needs to be upwards of a couple thousand subscribers.
Seriously, and he's gonna get there. I mean,
yeah,
absolutely.
I mean,
and
it's just
from Beyond,
so insightful. Yeah, and
they're always growing.
Yes, I mean, he's got some great stuff going on already, but like, to see Evan's channel, to see Alex's channel just continuously grow. I know Beyond the Void is, I think they're 3,000 plus.
Yeah, they're 3,000 plus for sure.
And just to look at the quality content that everyone produces, and we'll always be critical of our content, but it's just like, to watch them and then compare our stuff to theirs, and it's just like, there's so many great things that they bring to the table, and it's one of those things we're watching and kind of shaping the content that we have and mold it a little different way because of what they bring to the table. It's always so motivating to surround yourself by such creative minds and guys that are so insightful, especially when it comes to horror movies. I mean, it's one of those things that kind of motivates you to be better, to do that extra research that maybe you don't want to do, or you try to find that time, you stay up an extra hour or half hour, whatever you got to do to get that next little tidbit, because there's so much great content on those channels.
Absolutely. And those guys are great. I'm going to leave their channel links in the description. So definitely go subscribe to them if you haven't already. They are wonderful. Also, another wonderful collaborator that we're bringing on board to the show here, more in a background capacity, is our good buddy. He's a character, I will say, without spoilers, in our short film. But he is also the film would not have been possible without him, because of his expertise in the sound department, music, everything. He was literally with me in my office leading up to the final submission hours. We're talking about our buddy Adrian. Say what's up, man.
What's up, y'all? How's it going?
Yeah, this is something that we've kind of talked about for a few months now. I want to say we started talking about this at the beginning of the summer, about bringing you on. This is really in, like I said, a background capacity for now. You aren't like the biggest horror fan. You like horror, but you're not as into it as we are as far as that. But your heart and soul,
we definitely appreciate it.
Your heart and soul really comes down to just the creative nature and the creative aspect of things. And so the fact that we went to school together, for video editing and everything like that, but your love has kind of been in music. So the fact that we can kind of get you back with your tools, he is taking over all the duties on Sunday Scaries. So the fact that we've been able to do clips and everything, that's all Adrian right now. Every week we get those clips and we can see you guys are loving them, especially this past week. Was nuts. A lot of you guys really checking out like the Killer Clowns news and stuff. So, definitely that's all him. He's behind all that. And as we grow and more content comes out, Adrian will be behind all of that. And hopefully, if all goes well, we can get him in front of the camera every once in a while to either, talk some stuff or even stream some games with us. So, but Adrian, tell the audience a little bit about yourself, man.
Absolutely. I'm very thankful to be part of the process, you guys. As Dylan said, I've been behind the scenes, doing a little bit of audio editing, video editing. Overall, I've just had a very creative passion towards those things. And I've been working towards that kind of stuff since high school, since I knew Dylan. When I first met him, one of the first times we ever hung out, we actually went to go shoot a little video together. It's kind of another short film, if you will, called No Man's Land. So, that was a pretty good first impression. Little teaser there to tease what was to come in the future for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Those were excellent times. And, there's a lot of people that you're probably going to see from my friend group growing up here of just people that are going to overlap not only in this short film, but upcoming short films and everything. And then obviously, you guys know Luke and I's story. We met at our used video store buybacks, but it was pretty soon after that I crossed these two. But I think your guys' friendship really sparred up when we started working on that short film, Meeting Mr. Atwood. It's something, again, false start, never got off the ground. We want to go back to it, but that's when I think you two really got to know each other.
Oh yeah, Luke's got a wonderful sense of humor, and of course I was acting in that one. And back when Dylan and I first started hanging out, I started off in acting, in general. So it was just kind of like, one, a good callback to how I used to express myself creatively in the past, and then two, just like, hanging out with these cool ass dudes and just having a good time, honestly. And who knows, maybe we'll see Mr. Atwood in the future.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, just going into that, because Adrian's been in quite a few things that never seen the light of day yet. Meet Mr. Atwood being one of them, and then our little little sackhead thing, which is something where you're really bonding when you're out there on freezing cold November day where it's raining. But it's one of those things where I've seen Adrian act, and as we talk about possible projects coming up, as once we get one completed, we always want to keep going. I've seen Adrian act. He's got a lot of talent, and I can't wait to actually, use him in front of the camera into a more verbal capacity this time around, because, what we did film with Meet Mr. Atwood, which was more so intended to show off Adrian's acting skills. There's a lot there. So it's one of those things where I'm very excited for these upcoming next projects that we are going to develop and, actually present. And then, even going back to the editing that Adrian's doing right now. As I said, we've been climbing in subscribers even after we've surpassed that 1,000 mark. And, I credit Adrian to a big degree to that, because the clips to Sunday Scaries are catching on. And we're seeing a big climb in that viewership, and we're just getting those subscribers. So that's one of the things where, as we grow, we need more hands in the pot. We need, more reliable guys. And, we can't think of anyone better than our buddy Adrian.
Shout out to Luke. Shout out to Dylan. Thank you so much for having me, guys. It's been an honor working with y'all, and I'm stoked for what's to come.
Absolutely. But before you head out, also, we got to talk a little bit about where Sycophant's been. So, like I said, Adrian was very much in the trenches with us. I'd say Luke and I got most everything together. And, we always intended to have Adrian acting in the film. Like, he knew what his costume was and his role and everything. But it was kind of coming up to I want to say a week before, where, I had asked you for some audio advice, because obviously you produce music and everything, which we'll talk about. But, it's one of those things where I was just like, so what are we going to do here? Like, what can we do? And Adrian really took this project on whole hog, in a sense, and said, you know what, let's do this right. Let's take the time. I'm going to record the audio separately, and we're going to go right into it. And to this day, any project that I've ever worked on personally, and this is through school, any project that Luke and I have worked on together, the audio, I will say, in this short has never sounded more crisp. And that is all thanks to this guy. I know he's hard on himself. And yes, were there things that we could have all coordinated a little bit better had we not put ourselves under such an intense time crunch? Of course. But I'm so blown away by just how this film sounds. And, you know, we're working on the final cut. You know, we're going to get back up on that here again this weekend, actually. So once that's done, he's still working with me here. Like, Adrian's still coming over. We're still working on the sound mix. We're getting things put in place there. It's all still happening, and it wouldn't be to the quality that it is without him, which is precisely why his little company logo plays in front of the film as well, with Mars Jones Media.
My last name is MJ stands for. Yeah, very proud to bring such a, you know, audio treatment to the production here. You know, I'm not going to toot my own horn or anything, but when I try to do anything, I try to do it, you know, as good quality as possible and as effective as possible. So, you know, I'm only expecting things to kind of go up from here in terms of that.
Awesome. And yeah, so I guess other news for Sycophant before we let Adrian go here is just that, as you guys know, we had planned, and I'm sure if you've watched our interview with Neil and Francine about the AKRON Independent Horror Short Festival, we entered our project, got the film in there, got a cut. Like I said, we didn't get the final cut in there, but a cut of it. And yeah, we got selected, which was really cool. That was something that we were really excited about, and we just said, you know what, hey, let's take this. You know, on personal social media and stuff like that, I've been blasting it out like crazy. So have these guys. As far as the channel goes, we've kind of been trying to save it for this, and you know, a lot of things have kind of fallen into place. So I can say that we've officially been selected, but I can also say with confidence that we have been nominated for a few awards. 4 to be exact. We got Best Kill, Best Gore, Best Music, which again, Adrian has a hand in that. We both selected tracks, and he helped it all tie together, which is awesome. And then our actress, Kayla Presley, was nominated for Best Actress, which was kind of the highlight of all the awards there for me, really, because like that is such a big one. You know, like a lot of like the big ones are actors and, you know, Best Picture and everything. But like the fact that she got nominated, because she really does give a great performance in this, especially for the fact that there was no rehearsal. We really threw the script at her 2 weeks before shooting and said, show up. And then Luke and I changed so much of the script days before shooting. And, you know, it's just, it was kind of a shit show on our end a little bit, but you know, she was a professional. She knocked it out of the park, and she totally deserves this nomination.
Absolutely. Coming from a performance background, I understand how competitive it can be, especially when you have, you know, well-rehearsed actresses and actors, those who maybe even might have more experience and whatnot. And the fact that we were able to get that nominee along with the 3 others with the time crunch that we were under and everything is just, I mean, it's a miracle, man. Well, you know.
It's, you know, honestly, an absolute feather in our cap to be like, the goal was to get it finished, to place in that top 20, to have it shown, you know, was something that we were just so excited about. And then to actually be nominated into some categories, which, you know, to be honest, I wasn't sure if we were going to make any categories. You know, once we made it into the festival, I was like, cool, that's all I need. But to, you know, to look at that Best Music and to go back to Adrian's, the seriousness that he put into the audio there. And I remember Dylan and I, back when we were doing by admission only regularly, we went and saw Auditorium 6, which is Chris Stuckman's short film, and being blown away by the professional audio that he had in that. And I know that was a sticking point in my head when we were going to do this, was we need great audio. And one of the things I do is when I watch something like Sycophant, I watch it visually, and then I will just turn it on and listen to it and listen to the audio and just how it presents itself. And it's one of those things where I didn't have any critiques because it was so on point. And same thing with Kayla's nomination. It was one of those things where going into it, sitting down with someone, especially just presenting the script in its finality right there, I didn't have many critiques for anything in her performance. She was just kind of hitting everything and almost knew exactly how everything should be presented, the feel, the tone we were going with. So from our end, yes, we threw this thing together and tried to, get it out there as best we could. But the professionalism of everyone showing up really facilitated us getting this done, because I did not have many critiques from anyone's performance, because everyone took this so serious and knew that this was something that we really wanted to get done. So yes, from our end, from that build up, from the pre-production stuff, was very stressful. But getting on set, and when everyone took everything so seriously, I don't want to say it was a breeze, because it was hours long of shooting. But I think it was like the best that we could possibly have. It could have been way more stressful than what we actually went through.
Absolutely. Yeah, it could have been nuts, but we have a good team. We got good friends.
Absolutely.
And good people behind it. So before we let Adrian go, I just want you guys to know you guys can come and see us if you're local, or if it's not too far of a drive for you, on September 16th at the AKRON Civic Theater. Tickets on sale now. If you got $15, come down, join us. You get to meet Luke and I, and of course Adrian here, and you get to watch our film. You get to be one of the first people to see it. And then, of course, we are planning to release this as the kickoff to Splatterthon. I will say that up front now. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I know Adrian's got things to do, so we'll let him get back to it. But yeah,
Thanks,
no Sunday Scaries this week. As you guys can see, I probably put an announcement on the channel there, but he will be working behind the scenes next week, of course, when we have a new fresh batch of news. And of course, check out his music too. Adrian, plug your band.
That's right. Check us out at Half Past Late on Spotify, halfpastlate.official on Instagram. It's our most consistent social media. We make kind of like a indie pop punk kind of mix of music there. We got like our one hit wonder Peachy Sweet, which is kind of like genre wise a bit different from everything else that we got. But feel free to check that stuff out. And of course, we'll have more music coming out soon.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, bud. And yeah, let's get on with the rest of the announcements. Alrighty, and then that brings us to our next announcement. Now, as we said, things have been a little bit crazy behind the scenes. Obviously, we had the short film stuff we just talked about. We've had a lot of things with opportunities, reviews. You've seen a lot of that already with the amount of screeners and people reaching out to us. I don't really know how it happened, but when you do this, I don't necessarily know if this is standard, but we got into a nice groove of reaching out to creatives this last year, trying to score these interviews, trying to talk to some of these people who are making films that we're interested in, like the Outwaters and Skinamarink and all this stuff. And, it kind of got us on the radar for a couple of PR firms. And, we've been getting offers to check out certain films. And that's where these screeners come from. I think about July. I don't know necessarily what film tripped it up. It's kind of hard to pinpoint, but we suddenly got like on somebody's radar, and then August, like 1st, 2nd, 3rd, like that whole first week of August, flooded with horror, independent horror film, review opportunities and things. And yeah, that just opened a huge door for us, and it was crazy. So we were able to get a lot of things on the channel, everything from obviously, like if I just pull up our content here, I mean, we have had obviously our stuff with Screambox, which is always a constant. We've covered the Slaughterhouse. I talked about a Bigfoot film called Summoning the Spirit. King on Screen was another great documentary we got to talk about. And I mean, the list just goes on. So it was just one of those things where there's still even stuff that we haven't fully covered yet. And I mean, Luke just talked about Demonic Toys, which is where all this is going. Because, yes, not only did those opportunities present themselves, but we also have, it's going to be so weird to say this, but we have officially gained a sponsor for the next 2 months. Yes, we are partnering with Full Moon Features, the company behind everything from Puppet Master to the Ginger Dead Man to Subspecies. Yes, they reached out to us. They have a really cool line of figurines, and obviously, Luke and I love our collectibles. And we talked for about a month back and forth in emails, just coming up with ideas. And yeah, we are doing a whole campaign here where we are going to be showing off Full Moon Features Series 1 of their Tiny Terrors. And yeah, it's super cool, super great to be just like with this company doing this. I mean, this is real YouTuber stuff. Like, this is stuff that you hear about, like, and you just think when you start out, like, man, I wonder what's going to be like when we get our first sponsor. And I mean, Luke and I were just over the moon, literally.
Yeah, it was something that really caught us off guard. When you start something like this, like we said, it kind of goes hand in hand with the subscribers, where it's like, maybe you'll get there eventually, but it's not something that is necessarily on your goals list at that point. Certainly not something like a Full Moon Features, Tiny Terrors opportunity like that. Because as soon as, we had gotten that email, and then jumped right back on it, it was like, oh wow, this is actually, the wheels are turning, a lot of moving parts, and it's really coming together. And then kind of seeing that through, getting that email where, officially seals that kind of deal, and the next steps that we have to do to kind of present those Tiny Terrors, which we're kicking around some ideas, which is going to be really intriguing, especially when we get them, in hand and are able to do a few different things with them. I mean, it's one of those things where we couldn't have expected it. It's hard to put into words, to be honest, because this was something where you partner with someone like a Full Moon Features, and I grew up watching Puppet Master, and it's not something that, if you're going to get a sponsor, you think it's going to be something random. It's not going to be a notable property or anything, but Full Moon Features is a legit deal. I mean, they've been in the horror space for decades upon decades. So it's really one of those things where it feels like such an achievement, even though it's so fresh, it's so new right now. It's just something that neither of us could have imagined, because it is something that, in our eyes, is so big, and they're so prominent in the horror space.
Absolutely. And, it was surreal. And obviously, these things take time. There was a lot of, we wrote out an entire pitch, to them, and just basically said, this is what we want to do. And I can't get into all the details of it, but I can tell you that, from here on out, at least for the months of September and October, we are sponsored by them. You're going to be seeing a little advert like I put in the video just before this. And you'll see that through just about every Raw reaction and every video we put out from here until the end of Splatterthon. And as we ramp up into Splatterthon, you're going to see a lot of Full Moon inspired content. And of course, we're going to get our hands on some of those figurines, and we're going to be able to show you guys a closer look. We're going to potentially talk to some of the creatives behind it. And yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff on the horizon. I mean, seriously, thank you guys over at Full Moon for considering us, for doing this with us. And yeah, I'm so excited to share these things and to share what is to come with the Full Moon Features X SplatterCast partnership.
Yeah, a lot of big stuff. I mean, this is something where, getting this done and being able to reflect on it is going to be so exciting, because then you're always going to be wondering what is next. And like I said, Full Moon Features is such a big property, and to already have that in our back pocket once we all said and done end of Splatterthon, it's just so exciting. It's your head starts going with the possibilities of what could be next and what is on the horizon for SplatterCast, because again, this is not something we anticipated, certainly not this soon, but here we are, not even 2 years in. What are we, a year and a half maybe? And we're racking up some achievements here that we never would have expected.
Absolutely. And yeah, these are blind boxes, just to kind of give you guys a little bit more insight. They're blind box minifigs. I got a picture here. And you know, they're really cool looking. I cannot wait to get them in hand and really give you guys a closer look at them. But they feature a ton of great characters. I mean, you know, they've got all kinds of stuff like Jack Attack, obviously, with the film you just covered, Luke.
Got Radu.
Yep, Radu, and you know, Ginger Dead Man and Blade. Blades is somebody I want to have just on my shelf for sure. And yeah, I'm so excited to tell you guys what's next with this. And you know, I will tell you though now, they are going to be available in stores and certain retailers, and of course they're going to be available on fullmoonhorror.com. They are also going to be $14.95 for each box. But yeah, I mean, they look like premium figures when we get them in hand. I cannot wait to show them to you guys. I will also have a link down below for them so you guys can kind of subscribe to that and get product updates. And just know when you're going to be able to get them in hand. But they are saying that it shouldn't be too far now. They want to get them out in stores by October. So yeah, as we show you guys what's going on in the channel, you'll be able to start picking them up. So that is awesome. But let's transition now into one of the last topics here. Is of course, Splatterthon is on its way. You know, it's kind of wild that we're back to Splatterthon Volume 2 here. You know, we've been planning content for this, at least talking about it all summer long. You know, obviously we've been busy boys, so you know, there's been some things where we're like, man, we gotta sit down and talk about Splatterthon. We gotta figure it out. And we've got a lot of great stuff on the channel. I don't want to get into deep specifics, but I do want to say that we do have some collabs coming up. We do have some podcast episodes, which is another thing we'll touch on here real briefly. But you know, it's gonna be a lot of fun. You know, we are definitely trying our best to get ahead of things, so we're not as worn out, burnt out by the end like we were last year. Because like, yeah, we had a lot of fun doing it. It was great. But yeah, I think you guys could tell in November that we were just like, whew, that was a lot. That was our first real, I want to say, like, content push. Like, that was the first time Luke and I were in front of our computers day in, day out, making and producing stuff.
Absolutely. That was I think that was really the turning point almost, where it was right after that where, you know, we started getting, you know, we went into December to Dismember very shortly after Splatterthon, and, you know, we started racking up interviews over the next couple months and really getting screeners and things like that, seeing a couple things early. But yeah, you know, Splatterthon, like last year, we're definitely going to make it special this year. October is our month. It's the horror month, of course. So a lot of great stuff that we've been kicking around. You know, we got that announcement that Chucky's going to be back, so definitely excitement there. And some, you know, Better Off Dead that we did last year. Always some of the classics that we're going to be doing. So we have a fun lineup from what we've decided thus far. So, you know, we're really putting stuff together. Like Dylan said, we're trying our best to get ahead of things. We're going to start kicking that into full gear here certainly soon. And then we're going to do our best to make October as memorable as possible here on SplatterCast.
Absolutely. And like we said, we're going to have Sycophant kicking everything off. So you guys will be able to sit down with us. I think we're going to do a live stream, probably a watch party with that one. Just kick it off. We'll definitely let you guys know what's going on with that. And then, yeah, of course, we're going to have content revolving around all of the hot new properties coming out. Of course, we're going to go see Five Nights at Freddy's, Exorcist, which just moved up. We're going to get you guys an Exorcist Believer video, probably do a spoiler video on that. You know, we might have a lot to say considering it is David Gordon Green. But yeah, we got a lot of great stuff planned for Splattercast or Splatterthon. I am so excited. Splattercast in general, we're always moving. But yeah, I think probably the last topic, if I'm not wrong, Luke, is probably just the podcast. What's been going on with that? Why are we haven't had a podcast episode since
Hollow Man.
Hollow Man, which was that July or was that June?
I don't even think that was June. I think that was before we started the Sycophant.
No way. Oh my god.
Production stuff. It's been a minute. We're still riding the Kevin Bacon high. What can I say? I mean, the man's a national treasure. But no, seriously, it's one of those things where obviously we ran into a short film, being bombarded with screeners and other opportunities that we've just mentioned here. You lose some time, especially the type of research that we want to dedicate to the podcast. We just don't want it to be another episode of anything that we actually produce. We really want to put that time and care, which is why we knocked it down to a monthly thing initially at the beginning of the year. But it's one of those things where time catches up with you, where it's 1 minute the week's open, the next minute you're watching 3 screeners and trying to get out reviews and interviewing a director. So it's one of those things where those slots fill up quick, and we haven't been able to dedicate as much time to the podcast as we've wanted to. But it is something that we're SplatterCast. It's something where we definitely want to continue those podcasts, just on maybe a different schedule.
Yeah, and I think the thing is just like it will be more of a kind of as we can schedule in a sense, where again we want to put a lot of effort into those episodes. If you go back and listen to them, there's a lot of research that goes into it. Luke proposed a wonderful idea as far as how to do the research and everything that we would do before, because really, to give you guys a little behind the scenes talk here, it was a lot of if I had a pick, I would do the research for that week. Like Luke would do some research. He would obviously look into some of the things, watch some of the special features, but whoever's pick it was, they would do the bulk of it. So it's like, for instance, Luke has a couple of picks where he, read novelizations, listened to, audiobooks, things like that, scripts. So it's like he would dive deep into some of this stuff. And, that's really where a lot of that time that we had prior to, all these opportunities opening up went to, and just trying to produce a quality show. And we don't just want to crap out podcast episodes because we need to get them done. We want those to be more in depth, more engaging, and they're definitely going to return. We definitely want to have at least one come out for Splatterthon. We're going to try, I'll say it now, we're going to try for 2. And we're really game planning here. We're really trying to get on top of this stuff so we can get out. And again, that's why we had to bring somebody like Adrian on board to help us out with some of the editing. Because again, Sunday Scaries is fun. It's not the deepest thing when it comes to having to, produce that as far as like the shooting portion, but all that editing and everything that goes into it, that does take time. So the fact that we freed up Luke a little bit, will definitely help as far as that. And more behind the scenes stuff, we are making some equipment upgrades as far as Luke's computer, things like that here this weekend. So that is going to help too, in the sense that he'll have a lot more power behind his screen there. But that's really where the podcast sits right now. It's probably going to be more of just as it comes, and then once we finally get into that rhythm, we are going to keep it going. And then I think just during busier months, there will probably just be a bit of a blank. There will be episodes where they're not there, but I can promise that when we do have episodes, they'll be big, they'll be in depth, and they'll be long. And if we're lucky, maybe we can even start bringing on some guests to kind of talk with us and make them more event pieces on the channel, and less of just that commitment to every month. I know that's kind of unorthodox for a podcast, but it seems like you guys really love the content that we're putting out as far as these raw reaction reviews and things. And as we start ramping up into these more classic reviews again, we're really just finding our footing. And I'm optimistic that we will find a solid place for SplatterCast. And really, if we keep things going, and this is all, no pressure on you guys. You guys are wonderful and you're doing great. But the more love we show to the channel, the more subscribers, the more views, the more likes, the more shares, the more we're able to hopefully in a couple of years transition this into full-time work. And then this is everything. We're going to be doing SplatterCast and short films and maybe eventually real films, till the cows come home. So that's it, man. That's the dream. And again, I cannot express enough just how awesome it is to have, 1,000 of you plus that are subscribed to us and watch our stuff and talk to us and love talking about horror. Like it really means the world to me and to Luke, and that's just it's everything.
Yeah, and this is the goal, is to eventually move this into full time, and whenever we can make that. And it's something where I think more so the stress from our end comes from that time commitment, because it's one of those things where they say, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I think if again, as Dylan said, no pressure on anyone, but as this hopefully becomes a full-time thing, that frees up our time commitments. There becomes less stress, and it becomes, because we love doing the research, we love living in the horror space. It's something right now that is something that it is just a byproduct that we're monetized and able to make some sort of cash off it now, where
we're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, where it's like before it was like when we had proposed this to start this back up, we just wanted to dedicate some time to talk about horror movies, so now being able to actually make the money that we do off it, just hitting that 1,000 subscriber, is just something we're so grateful for. It's something we have a lot of big plans coming up. I know we've talked about I mentioned it with Alex and Evan, looking at those guys as heightening that bar to kind of up that production value, and kind of maybe do some deep dive videos on some things, and kind of that long-standing content that subscribers can go back to and rewatch, and they're not so time sensitive of a review or anything like that. So we have a lot of big things that we're tossing around that we want to get to, whether they're actual podcast related, or just more video essays, things like that. A lot of big things that we're talking about that we really want to present on the channel, and just kind of have that longevity of SplatterCast.
Absolutely. And yeah, I am excited for the future. I mean, again, working with Full Moon, it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to open a lot of doors. And really, I think what we're cooking up with them is going to be great for any of you Full Moon fans, or any of you horror fans. These Tiny Terrors are going to be cool. And the stuff we have planned, it is going to involve you guys. And there is going to be a lot that we can give back, because that was kind of the number one thing that we thought of when this opportunity came to, was we want to do something that involves the audience, that gets you guys in the process, and really looks at you guys as not only as viewers, but like how we look at this stuff, where it's like, we're horror fans, we want to get the behind the scenes, we want to know what the inspiration is for these, we want to get these things in hand, we want to show them off, we want to do it all. And like, they were on board with all of that. And again, that opportunity wouldn't happen without you guys, and it's amazing. And I mean, seriously, we appreciate everything that you guys have done for us and getting us to this point. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it still feels like we're a relatively tiny channel. I mean, just because it is just really Luke and me, and we're just kind of doing our thing. But like, we look back at where we were and where we are now in just a little over a year, and it is just mind-blowing that so many of you guys have accepted us and let us do what we're doing and get us to this point. And I mean, I know I'm just a broken record right now, so we'll wrap it up, but I'm just saying, I'm so grateful. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to that werewolves not swearwolves video, and like at where we are now, it's funny to think about, where we always have goals that you write down that you want to achieve, but they're always long-standing. It's to be determined. Hopefully in a couple of years we'll get there, and we still have big goals that we want to achieve, but we're definitely in a great spot now. That's thanks to everyone who checks out these videos, likes them, subscribes them. We can't thank you enough. But yeah, we've come a long way. We want to continue to get better, present new things, new content for you guys. That's going to be intriguing. That's going to be something that you're at work and you have a half hour, you want to flip something on, and it's just one of those things where it's a huge compliment that if you want to dedicate some time to the things that are our thoughts and opinions on things is something that, you know, it's tough to express into words because, again, we're just so grateful. It's one of those things where I don't know, it's very unique. It's a unique experience to, you know, kind of roll around in your head a little bit and be like, well, okay, people are actually catching on to some of the things that we do.
Yeah, and it's wild, and it's gonna go even crazier. I mean, we have a lot of ideas again that are just gonna focus on bringing you guys more into the fray with the content here. We want to do more live commentaries. We want to do all the stuff that really actually gets us interacting with you guys right away. I mean, like one of the best things that I think we did over this last year was the Chainsaw Awards. Like, and just meeting some of you guys like who just came in, and some of you even said you just discovered us right then and there, but that was fun. That was great. We love doing our commentaries, you know, and everything like that. So we want to do more of that. And in general, like, you know, we're tossing around ideas. I've seen suggestions in the comments to do like countdown videos or recommendation videos. That's all stuff that we want to do. And I think the thing that we're kind of learning and what we're doing forward here is that this is stuff that's going to happen. It's just, again, with this push to not only, you know, do it, because it's like, yeah, we could do it and do kind of how we've been doing, where it's like, you know, it's quantity, it's out there, it's done. But we want to up that quality. We want to make this something, again, like Luke said, that you guys can come back to and enjoy and really see the best from us. We want to give you the best of what we can offer and what we're learning. And, you know, I think every time I sit down in front of this, you know, editing software now with a new concept, with a new video, I'm always doing my best to, you know, think outside the box a little bit and what I can do. If I can sit here for an extra 5 minutes, what can I add to this video to not only make it more informative, more engaging, but just a higher quality in general. So, and that again, all comes from you guys. But all right, I think that's it. This was supposed to be a 10-minute video. It is almost 50. And again, we thank you guys so much for checking it out. If you stuck with us throughout this, you are seriously one of the best, and we love you. And yeah, this is insane. Full moon features, sycophants coming out. We're in a film festival, and there's some potential news. We've got a confirmation, but we don't have like the official documentation to prove it. And if that happens later this month, holy shit, that's going to be nuts. And I cannot wait to hopefully do that with you guys. But if not, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, no, that's it. That's all we got. So I think I'm going to wrap it up here. Luke, you got anything else for him?
No, I think you touched on it. If, you know, hopefully what Dylan was alluding to follows through. And if that is, again, Dylan said we're busy boys. We're going to be even busier. So we'll see what the future holds. If it all goes through like we're hoping it does, it'll be a very fun time on the channel.
Absolutely. But alrighty, guys, it's going to wrap us up here. So thank you so much for sticking with us. Thank you so much for being a part of SplatterCast. And yeah, seriously, we love you. Thank you so much. And we're glad you guys are here. So until next time, I am Dylan Newell.
And I'm Luke Janisko.
And remember, stay scared.